Game Plan was the movie that turned me into an Elvis fan when I was only 7 years old. Spoilers ahead. Of course, this is one of those feel-good movies that you can put on when you're in the mood for something lighthearted and fun. I remember being absolutely obsessed with it as a kid. I must have played it over and over again. The story is simple, but sometimes simple is just what you need. You've likely seen similar plots before, a tough guy softened by the presence of a child. But in this exact form, probably not. Dwayne The Rock Johnson plays Joe Kingman, a football star for the fictional Boston Rebels. Think Tom Brady and the Patriots. Same level of fame, same level of pressure, and same city. Joe's life takes an unexpected turn when his long-lost daughter, Peyton, shows up on his doorstep and completely upends everything. He has to learn how to be a father while still maintaining his life as a professional athlete. The narrative isn't groundbreaking, but it's executed in a way that feels fresh and genuine. Game Plan also marked a key transitional moment in Dwayne Johnson's career. This was one of his earlier ventures into family-friendly films, a genre that helped him broaden his appeal far beyond action flicks and wrestling fans. It was a critical step that allowed him to become the global star that we know today. One who can balance massive action blockbusters and charming comedies like this. One of the things I really appreciate about Game Plan is the genuine character development. Sure, it's a family comedy with its share of silly moments, but the emotional core of the film is surprisingly solid. Joe's growth as a character isn't just thrown in there for the sake of wrapping up the plot. It's woven into the very theme of the film. Unlike some movies that rely on cheap laughs or contrived emotional beats, Game Plan takes its time to let Joe's transformation feel earned. Even the small details like the comparison between ballet and football adds layers to the story. The scene where Joe learns ballet with Peyton is both funny and touching, and it comes full circle in the championship game, when Joe pulls off a pirouette on the field. It's a clever way to show that the lessons Joe learned aren't just for comedic effect. They play a meaningful role in his life. The writing might not be on the same level as a film like The Prestige, a masterpiece by Christopher Nolan, but that doesn't mean it's not well written. There's a tendency to think that only complex, high-concept films are worthy of praise, but family comedies can be smart too. The conversations between Joe and Peyton are more than just cute banter. They serve a purpose beyond filling screen time. Each question Peyton asks Joe deepens their relationship and reveals more about who Joe is underneath his tough exterior. Even when Peyton has an allergic reaction and Joe rushes her into the hospital, cradling her like a football as he dashes through the city. It's a clever nod to Joe's natural instincts as both a father and an athlete. The film respects its audience enough to take these moments seriously, even within the framework of a light-hearted comedy. Let's talk about the Elvis angle. I vividly remember this movie being my first introduction to Elvis Presley, and I became hooked almost immediately. His music was unlike anything I had heard in 2007, and I had Burning Love on repeat for weeks. The Elvis motive adds an extra layer of fun to the film, and it helps set Game Plan apart from other family comedies. It's not just a plot device, it becomes a meaningful part of Joe's character and the film's overall charm. As for the acting, it's pitch perfect for the type of movie this is. Dwayne Johnson shines in his role, blending his larger-than-life persona with a vulnerability that makes his character relatable. I always forget that The Rock used to have hair, and seeing him in his earlier roles reminds me of just how far his career has come. His natural charm carries this film, and it's always entertaining to see him struggle with the everyday realities of parenting, especially when it comes to raising a young girl who loves ballet and bedazzles everything in sight. There's a reason his career took off after the movie. Johnson is endlessly watchable, and his comedic timing is spot on. Madison Pettis, who plays Peyton, does a fantastic job as well. She strikes the perfect balance between being adorable and, yes, a little annoying, just like any real child would be. The supporting cast is equally likable, and even though the cinematography doesn't break new ground, it works well for a family comedy. There are a few standout shots, and overall the film's visual style communicates exactly what it needs to. It might not win awards for technical innovation, but it gets the job done. And that closing credits scene, classic. Sure, We've all seen a montage of the cast singing along to a hit song 1,000 times, but it never fails to make me smile. What can I say? It's formulaic, sure, but there's a reason formulas exist. They work. And in this case, the formula is executed so well that it doesn't feel tired or overdone. That said, the film isn't entirely predictable. The reveal about Peyton's mother being dead and her aunt being the woman we've seen Peyton interact with throughout the movie adds an emotional twist that breaks away from the usual formula. It's these little moments that elevate game plan beyond the standard family comedy fare. Critics might nitpick a movie like this, but I think it's important to judge films based on what they are set out to do. And this movie, it accomplishes everything it aims to and more. I'm pretty sure Game Plan has become a childhood staple for many people in my generation. Its rewatchability is high. I'd say it's a solid 85%. I've seen it countless times, and I know I'm not alone in that. The brilliance of this movie lies in its accessibility. You don't have to be a football fan or care about ballet or even be an Elvis aficionado to enjoy it. All you need is an open mind and a willingness to let this film's charm sweep you away. As always, thank you for watching. See you next time.